Good.
Don't move!
Ah, that cursed dancer! May you be devoured by rust!
Fingers. Fortunately, he was unable to take his things with him. The sleepless slaves. They meant the automats. Feeding off the blood of innocent people. Monsieur Raymond was completely mistaken. I must inform him.
you monster. What do you want with me? Wasn't it enough for you to steal my dancer?
I'm merely obeying the king, mademoiselle. Don't be afraid. You and your beloved machine will soon be reunited. I give you my word. Voila, here we are. Do you see that window? That's where she's waiting for you. Sale petite peste. I suggest you don't try that again.
Atanaeus, what could have happened to her in this workshop? This notebook appears to be very old. I should show it to Abbe Gregoire. Balsamo. So that is the name that the Comte de Cagliostro uses to conduct his business discreetly.
You'll stay with me always, n'est-ce pas? Without you, mon ami, I'd be all alone.
This box is covered in astronomical symbols. It's no use. I can't get it open. I should show this to Monsieur B. Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening.
Goodbye, Monsieur. Monsieur Necker.
Madame? Eh bien, do you come bearing good...
Your wife. You may rest easy, monsieur. She returned home and left you this...
Mon Dieu. She's going to meet our daughter and son-in-law at our charity hospital.
She may already be...
Madame, I did not dare my wife and daughter. The three of us will be able to leave the kingdom and put these...
What about the bond?
Oh, do with them as you see fit. As long as the king... As for me, I'm going to fight... Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Adieu, madame.
Minister Necker has given his bonds to me.
That's quite a nice little sum. Can you imagine? That's one
Wealth that the king squanders for his personal benefit according to his whim.
Ma foi.
Monsieur Necker certainly has been...
generous. I have mine so high, in fact, that it would have dug the deficit.
Eh bien, messieurs. To what you...
If I could spend it, I'd do everything I could to return to the people. To begin, I would get them the bread they so sorely need. It is only after the scourge of famine has been vanquished that armed...
And where will you find wheat, Robespierre? Will you steal it from under them? As for arming the people, this is another one of your delusions. How could your ragged pack of wretches win any sort of...
When you insult the people, you insult me, Monsieur de la...
I am not insulting anyone, Robespierre. But I happen to know what... Monsieur, I was but a lad of... And everyone here knows my role in the liberation of America. If you allow me to dispose of these bonds, I will found an army that will annihilate... As soon as I have the opportunity to leave Paris, I will rally... Then, I will call for a mass uprising. I will have more than enough money to pay their wages and procure the weapons.
And you will have obedient troops at your beck and call.
These troops will only serve the will of the
Are
people.
you sure that the king has spared the rest of the kingdom, Monsieur le Marquis?
I am almost certain of it, mon père. Despite all of his resources, the king does not...
Aegis, no member of this assembly can force... To whom will you entrust, Monsieur Necker?
Maximilien de Robespierre.
Very well, madame. I promise that I will use it for one purpose only. When a monarch violates the people's most fundamental rights, insurrection... But we must be wary of warmongers.
Bon sang. Am I the only one who is weary of hearing...
For they wish only to silence us, and take their own...
Congratulations, Aegis. You've chosen a speechifier. I am sure the king will be delighted to hear this. He need not fit...
Monsieur de Mirab... Alas, the bishop...
Damn it. I need to let me think. In light of the cartload of threats he sent me, they may even have already. However, my sister lives in... Unless a messenger rode 100 horses to... Then there is my...
If you ask me, I...
Yes, it's very kind of you to offer.
Your own...
Indeed. It's a very embarrassing matter.
I can be discreet.
Very well. You should know that my mother, the Countess of Covey, has lost. No matter what I tried, nothing. It is said that she is now living on charity. If perchance your past takes you to this dreadful place... Have you found my...
No.
Remember?
I found a broker. It says, do you know who it...
Well, yes. I know the owner. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a
That's right.
Well, you'd need to look a little further east, Manuel. Because this cane belongs... Franz Anton
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans.
Good heavens, it's been a long time.
5 years to be exact since you...
It wasn't long after that.
Can you tell me more?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended several...
You mentioned a commission.
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity within the court. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of Sciences.
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed allowed us to determine that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatanism, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career the moment it was published.
But there was something, Sylvain, a tiny flow of energy that my devices were able to measure.
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce you? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
When and how did Monsieur Mesmer disappear?
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long descent into hell for Monsieur Mesmer. He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his research in virtual secrecy. I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called science and restore his reputation with the Academy.
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God only knows what experiments they may have carried out. In any case, their collaboration did not last long. Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom overnight to return to his mother country.
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had the devil at his heels.
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything he owned. Furniture, belongings, and scientific equipment. And it seems that Cagliostro has inherited this treasure.
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true, that broken cane must have passed into the Count's hands.
Yes, it's likely.
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. And he has been very busy recently. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to Rue Saint-Honoré, on the Tuileries side. I wonder what he was doing there.
What were Monsieur Mesmer's theories?
He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism. He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by passing his hands over patients and using magnets.
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices, each stranger than the last. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know that he ever cured anyone.
What happened during Monsieur Mesmer's treatment sessions?
Oh, they were quite a spectacle to behold. Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burned to intoxicate the soul and cloud your vision. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from countess to duchess to the sound of a sensual melody. And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wandering hands, presiding over the wonderful scene. Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning, crying, and falling into a swoon, clinging to that strange tub. Du théâtre, ma chère. Pure theater. Have you found my mother?
No, not yet.
Remember.
Goodbye, Monsieur le Comte.
So how is Monsieur Marat?
I haven't...
He is your... He's holed up in the quarries of Montmartre, hiding from the Marquis de Lafayette.
Is your plan to arm the populace going as planned?
Oh, far from it, madame. The situation is hopeless. Even if they were armed and formed into battalions, the Patriots would not be able to fight.
Why is that?
Most of the strategic points in the city are inaccessible. A strange illness strikes all who try. They are seized by an irrational fear, one so great that those who do not lose consciousness go mad or perish on the spot. This makes it impossible to do anything. Any attempt at an uprising is a fool's errand.
The locations you mention share a common feature. A statue holding a lantern.
That's right. From what little I could make out, they appear to be depictions of a Vestal Virgin watching over the sacred fire.
Une lanterne des morts.
What do you mean, monsieur?
Lanterns of the dead. Ancient stone pillars that have found our ancestors kept afire. Today, no one knows what they were used for. Others claim that human bones, mercury, some odious sorcery that was meant to entrap the tormented souls that wandered around the burial grounds.
That makes sense and confirms my observations. I am now certain that the King's lanterns capture the anima essence of the dead who have been cast into purgatory. And that this essence is what allows the automats to stay in motion, without needing a key to...
Paternoster quies in celis.
Now that I think about it, you obviously are not subject to the harmful effects of these lanterns.
No, au contraire. When activated, these statues reveal an apparatus that allows me to repair myself.
It follows that if you destroy these lanterns, the people will be free to fight again.
Unfortunately, they are preternaturally strong. Nothing can so much as damage them.
Come now, no metal is indestructible. If we knew what these lanterns were made of, perhaps I could find a way to destroy them.
Take a look at this ledger, Monsieur Lavoisier. It contains a list of metals. I found it by the factories, near Vaucanson's workshop.
Let's see. Steel, molybdenum, very good. Tiens, donc, tungsten and zirconium. This master blacksmith knows his trade. These metals can be used to make the strongest alloy imaginable, as long as you have a fortune to invest.
For that, our clockwork tyrant knows no—
Well, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Break it? Certainly not. But I would recommend sulfuric or vitriol, if you prefer to use its comp.
Where can I obtain
I had some, but my laboratory at L'Arsenal, I can't tell you any. You should ask my colleague. He uses similar substances.
Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the—
Diable! You must find a way to get—
Where can I obtain—
I had some, but I can't tell you any more than that. You should ask my— He uses similar—
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier. Monsieur B. I found this box with astronomical symbols on it. I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athenais' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her on her 15th birthday.
I wasn't able to open it.
Naturellement. Athenais and I are the only ones who know how. Allow me. You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athenais' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athenais is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished possession in all the world. To think, the poor child never knew her own mother.
You monster! What did you do to her?
You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. Athenais de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. Athenais. It is her spirit that animates you. Is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination. It is vital that you go and find Athenais as soon as possible.
She is right in front of you. I am Athenais.
Alas, I fear that is not entirely accurate. You know nothing of Athenais, Lydia. Nothing of her past, her joys, her suffering. Nothing of her love for her father. You are but the vessel that harbors the poor child's soul.
Where can I find Athenais' body?
God only knows. Although I assume that the Comte de Cagliostro is taking pains to keep her alive. This is certainly the only way to keep her spirit alive in you. The only way to free her is to find her body.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson imprisoned in the Bastille?
Once he discovered the king's true intentions, he refused to continue cooperating with him. He refused to use— Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just before he— Here.
Monsieur Raymond,
Go on, Aegis.
I went to the Hotel de Massy. What I discovered goes beyond. The club's members have no intention of merely depriving their... Rather, with the King's support, they plan to replace them with automat hub.
Ma foi. But such a plan would certainly only improve the lot of these unfortunate...
You are mistaken, mon père. If the planters get their way, they will have a greater need. Only this time, they intend to slaughter them to power their machines.
Quelle abomination!
Par tous les saints.
4 days ago, the Paris Guard, they were to be sacrificed as part of an experiment to test the effectiveness of the... Luckily, I was able to...
Where are they now?
In a place they call the Dépôt des Noirs. I don't know if it bears the inscription.
The Devil's Tower is a prison in Vincennes.
That's 3 leagues from here. We'll only be able to free the prisoners once...
At least they were spared the fate that the king and his...
And what will you do with the 2 servants you employ, Mr.
I will continue to treat them well.
However, under the laws you insist, they will become slaves again the moment they leave the kingdom for Saint-Domingue.
Certainly not, Monsieur de Robespierre. What kind of a man would I be if what I have heard had not opened my eyes? The planters of Massiac have been proven to be nothing but avaricious murderers. I thought I was dealing with opposition, but now I discover them to be vile enemies, from whom it would be vain to expect any compromise. From this day on, I will fight against their interests with all my strength, and will not lay down my arms until the last slave in the Empire has been freed.
Rest assured, then, that the people will fight by your side, Monsieur Raymond.
That's the spirit, my friends. Vive l'égalité!
Monsieur B. Would you happen to know where I could find some vitriol?
It's combined with sea salt and green, but I don't know how much we have. You would need to go to the Louvre and take a look at the observatory.
If you will allow me.
Of course, madame.
I have not yet found the vitriol.
As I said, you will...
Goodbye.
Can I help you, Aegis?
What is the significance of these objects?
Nemes. I have reread every work that I have on them. Pages that have remained unintelligible to this day. These echoes go back to the beginning of time, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician took it into his head to bind a soul to an inanimate object. You see, Aegis, there is nothing more diabolical, nothing more unnatural than this sorcery. The soul is the very essence of the divine. It refuses to submit to such an abomination and resists. Eventually, the earliest necromancers whose works have survived through the centuries when a soul is fragmented, 3 shards of memory are torn from its consciousness and take shelter in 3 objects that the victim held dear. It's as if these memories wish to remain bound to the mortal who had held them until then.
What is the significance?
I have reread these to the earliest when a soul, and it is...
I found this notebook written in Latin.
Indeed. Medieval Latin, to be precise. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. Aegis, what a find. This handwriting. I would recognize it anywhere. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what I'm able to glean from it.
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. 3 journeys into what he calls the tormented spirits that are unable...
This world. It's where
En effet, I believe you're right. But that's not all. Flamel planned to return there a 4th time. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, then it can be separated from it too. And if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory, where Cagliostro entraps the souls of his victims.
Hold on. Are you trying to convince me to go and find Nicholas Flamel?
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Surely you won't pass it up.
Assuming I agree to venture into purgatory, do I even have a chance of finding him there?
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zenith of the place where it left the body of the deceased. Or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed, you'll need to go to the house where he drew his dying breath.
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency, in the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. You can get there via the cemetery of the Église Saint-Jacques.
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this automat?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, we would need to stop your machinery. For a short time, of course. We don't want to lose you, ma chère. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics, chemistry, or electric currents, or something or other. Therein lies the problem. This is far beyond my comprehension. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could shed some light on the matter.
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you?
Do you think there is any way to interrupt my internal clockwork?
To what end?
I would like to briefly sever the bond between my spirit and this automat.
It is a very strange request, madame. For what purpose do you seek to free your soul from its shell?
According to the abbot, my spirit would then be able to visit purgatory.
Oh, that dreadful place. Why on earth would you want to go there?
I hope to find answers to some very important questions.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. We are ignorant as to the principle that imbues you with life, nor do we know how your machinery works. That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. It would mean taking an unacceptable risk. Of course, if we had documents that could shed light on the matter...
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon ami?
Ludia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modifications ordered by the king. He wanted my opinion on the potential for reducing the size of certain key parts. The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared by Ludia and Aegis.
Bon sang, you're right. Where are the blueprints now?
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept them in the safe at the observatory, but earlier, when I went there to collect my most important documents, before setting off for the convent, I found looters making off with its contents.
Blasted scavengers. Their kind are always quick to make the most of chaos.
I chased them to the quays, but was unable to apprehend them. When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre, I decided it was best not to follow them.
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are everywhere, and the marauders don't...
I'll try to track them down. Goodbye, monsieur.